Deep within the Himalayas, shrouded in mystery and legend, lay the village of Whisper Creek, tucked away against the backdrop of an ancient primeval forest. It was a place where the air was thick with the scent of pine, and secrets danced among the trees. Here, nestled in a weathered wooden hut at the forest's edge, lived a boy named Ethan Harper. Just 12 years old, he navigated the world with a heart full of kindness and a spirit of adventure that belied his tender age. For Ethan, life was a blend of relentless chores and stolen moments of wonder. Days were filled with fetching water from the icy stream, collecting firewood, and tending to his grandmother's herb garden. It wasn't a life most children could fathom, yet Ethan found solace in its rhythm. His world was small, but it was all he'd ever known. His grandmother Ilara was a woman etched with the passage of time, her face a roadmap of wrinkles that spoke of a life well lived, her eyes cloudy with age and wisdom. Though blind, she was Ethan's anchor, her stories of mythical creatures and brave heroes filling the quiet evenings with magic. She taught him the language of herbs, the healing touch of earth, and the whispers of the wind that foretold of changing seasons. It was from her that Ethan inherited his deep reverence for nature and its secrets. Yet there were shadows cast upon this tranquil existence. The looming presence of the ancient forest held both allure and menace. For the people of Whisper Creek, the woods were more than just a source of sustenance or a playground for children. They were a realm of lurking dangers and forgotten lore. Never stray too far, Ethan, his grandmother's voice would warn, echoing the sentiments of the entire village. For beyond the familiar paths, the forest's heart lies wild and untamed. There are things that stir in its depths, that haven't seen a human eye in centuries. Her words were steeped in caution and respect, painting the forest as a living, breathing entity, as much a character in their lives as the weathered walls of their village. It was during these hushed evening tales that Ethan first heard the chilling legends of the wolves that haunted the Whisper Creek forest. The villagers spoke in fearful whispers of eerie golden eyes that glowed in the darkness, of mournful howls that carried secrets on the wind, and of huntsmen who vanished without a trace, becoming part of the forest's insatiable embrace. As dusk began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the valley, Ethan would often find himself drawn to the forest's edge. He'd sit for hours, enveloped by the symphony of crickets and the rustling of leaves, straining to hear the whispers of the wind and the elusive calls of the wolves. Each howl echoed through the ancient trees sent shivers down his spine, a mixture of fear and fascination gripping his young heart. He knew he shouldn't venture into the woods at such a perilous hour, yet there was something about the wolves' haunting melody that beckoned him, promising a mystery he couldn't resist. Ethan was a dreamer, and the forest, with all its mysteries and legends, was his greatest adventure yet. Then one fateful autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the mountain peaks in hues of crimson and gold, Ethan's curiosity got the better of him. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of damp moss and decaying leaves. As he walked deeper into the woods, the sounds of the village faded away, replaced by the symphony of the forest. That's when he heard it, a whimper, so faint it almost blended with the symphony of the forest. With bated breath, he followed the sound, pushing through a thicket of thorny bushes. What he saw before him made his heart skip a beat. There, in the clearing, trapped in a rusted iron jaw trap, lay a magnificent black wolf, its sleek fur matted with dirt and dried blood. The creature's powerful hind leg was crushed beneath the trap's unforgiving teeth. The surrounding ground churned from its desperate struggles. Fear, primal and instinctive, surged through Ethan. He wanted to run, to escape the clutches of this nightmare. Yet amidst his terror, he saw not a ferocious beast, but a creature in pain, fear mirroring his own in its amber eyes. His hands trembled as he slowly approached the wolf. The animal snarled, its breath forming a white cloud in the chilly air. But Ethan continued his approach, speaking in a low, soothing voice. "Easy now," he murmured. "I'm not going to hurt you." With trembling hands, he began working on the trap, his fingers slipping on the blood-slicked metal. Time seemed to stand still, each tick of the old clock in the village marking an eternity. Finally, with a metallic screech, the trap sprang open. The wolf lunged away, disappearing into the shadows. And that night, as Ethan lay in bed, he heard the faintest of scratching sounds at his window. Peeking outside, he saw a freshly killed rabbit placed neatly on his windowsill. It was a clear offering, a gesture of gratitude and trust from the creature he'd saved. Over the coming weeks, their bond deepened. Each evening, as dusk painted the sky in hues of lavender and orange, Ethan would meet the wolf in their clearing. He brought food, water and herbs, and the wolf, in turn, brought him small gifts, a feather from a hawk, a claw from a mountain cat, each item a token of their unique camaraderie. The villagers noticed Ethan's frequent disappearances and the strange offerings at his doorstep. Rumors spread like wildfire through Whisper Creek. Some believed Ethan had been bewitched, others that he'd made a pact with the very wolves their children were warned about. But Ethan, oblivious to the gossip, delved deeper into his studies of healing and lore. He learned about lycanthropy, a curse that could transform a human into a wolf under the light of the full moon. Could this be the creature's affliction? Was that why it was shunned and feared by the villagers? One fateful night during a violent storm, Ethan found the wolf huddled in the clearing, whimpering softly. The wind howled around them, mimicking the creature's sorrow. As lightning flashed, revealing the creature's face, Ethan saw not a monster, but a creature filled with pain and sadness. Nearing the creature, he gently stroked its head, whispering words of comfort. In that moment, as the storm raged around them, the wolf looked at Ethan and wind, a sound filled with gratitude and despair. Days turned into weeks, and the wolf's condition worsened. Despite Ethan's best efforts, the creature grew weaker. Then came the night of the blood moon, a lunar event that occurred only once every few years, casting an eerie red glow over the landscape. As the villagers huddled in their homes, Ethan rushed to the forest, fear gnawing at his resolve. When he reached the clearing, the sight that greeted him was both horrifying and heartbreaking. The wolf, consumed by pain, thrashed wildly, its body contorting in agony. Ethan fought to remain calm, reciting the ancient incantations his grandmother had taught him. As the blood moon reached its zenith, the forest fell silent, holding its breath as if in reverence to the unfolding drama. And then, as suddenly as it began, the thrashing stopped. The wolf lay still, its breaths shallow and raspy. Moments stretched into an eternity as Ethan waited, hoping against hope that his words had helped. When the first rays of sunlight pierced through the canopy, the forest erupted in a cacophony of birdsong. Cautiously, Ethan approached the wolf. To his immense relief, the creature's eyes flickered open. It was weak, but it was alive. Days passed, and the wolf, now christened Luna, slowly regained her strength. But the shadow of the blood moon still lingered in her amber eyes, a constant reminder of the curse that bound her to the forest. Despite the danger, Ethan continued visiting Luna, strengthening their bond with each passing day. He became determined to break her curse, poring over ancient texts in his grandmother's collection, searching for a way to help his dear friend. Meanwhile, the villagers' unease grew. Whispers of witchcraft and dark bargains intensified, casting a dark cloud over Whisper Creek. Fearful parents kept their children indoors, and even the bravest hunters steered clear of the forest at dusk. But Ethan remained resolute, driven by his love for Luna and his refusal to let fear dictate his actions. Then one night, as Ethan sat with Luna in the clearing, she looked at him with an intensity that made him shiver. She nudged his hand with her nose, leading him to a spot near an ancient oak. There, half buried in the soft earth, was a small wooden box. With shaking hands, Ethan opened the box. Inside, nestled on a bed of dried leaves, was a silver pendant shaped like a crescent moon. As he held it, a jolt of energy surged through him, and he knew this was the key to breaking Luna's curse. The next night, under the silvery glow of a full moon, Ethan returned to the clearing with the pendant. Luna was waiting for him, and when she saw the pendant, she let out a soft whine, as if sensing its significance. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, Ethan felt a surge of power within him. Taking a deep breath, he approached Luna, the pendant held high. In that moment, bathed in the ethereal moonlight, Ethan felt a profound connection with Luna and the ancient forest itself. With a voice filled with newfound strength, he began the ritual his grandmother's stories had spoken of. The pendant glowed warmly in his hands, bathing the clearing in a soft, inviting light. As the final words of the incantation left his lips, the pendant flared brightly, and a wave of energy surged outwards. Luna, bathed in the pendant's light, let out a soft cry, and then she was gone. In her place stood a man, tall and lean, his skin the color of sun-baked earth, his eyes the same golden amber as Luna's. The transformation was complete. Overcome with emotion, Ethan rushed to the man, tears of joy streaming down his face. The man, still weak from his transformation, smiled at Ethan, his eyes filled with gratitude, and in that moment, surrounded by the ancient trees and the soft glow of the moon, Ethan knew he'd not only broken a curse, but forged a bond that transcended species and defied the boundaries of the ordinary. The next morning, as the sun rose over Whisper Creek, casting its golden light over the village, Ethan awoke with a start. Beside him on his pillow lay the silver pendant, pulsing faintly with residual magic. Outside, the sounds of the village roused him fully. Had it all been a dream, he wondered, rubbing his eyes. As he slipped out of his hut, he saw a lone figure standing at the edge of the forest. It was the man from his dream, or rather, the man who'd been trapped in wolf form, cursed by some ancient magic. Ethan ran towards him, calling out, but the man turned, revealing a face so striking, so hauntingly beautiful, that Ethan was taken aback. The man's eyes, the color of burnished gold, held a depth that seemed to echo with ancient wisdom and untold stories. His features, sharp and defined, spoke of a life lived in harmony with the wildness of the forest. As they stood there, bathed in the soft morning light, Ethan knew he wasn't looking at just any man. He was seeing a guardian, a protector of the Whisper Creek forest, a being who'd walked the earth for centuries, forever bound to the rhythms of the wild. In that moment, as the forest rustled secrets in the wind, Ethan understood he'd stumbled upon a truth so profound it defied the boundaries of his understanding. He'd found not just a man, but a legend, and with that realization came a sense of awe, a feeling of standing on the threshold of